So, what initially motivated you to pursue multifamily and commercial real estate and pursue a career, in this industry?
I can say I trying to think if I met Jason Postil there, but it was 2000 and I think it was 2019 at a Rod Cleef event, whatever it is. So I mean that was one of my biggest events in 2019 that I went to and met a lot of people there, like just taking action. Like if I wouldn't have went to any of those, I don't know, I'd probably still be doing commercial finance. And again, I don't even think I'd have the mindset I have now to, actually have, $90 million in the pipeline of commercial real estate deals. And I think about half that are being funded. So it's a journey and, I learned a lot. But again, Rod Cleef, the boot camp in Baltimore, I think it was 2019. And again, I was going to Best Ever Conference. I was going to all these meetups and meeting a lot of people that are in here and other events and people that aren't even on Facebook no more that have completely crushed it, but really learned and was very disciplined and took action and everything.
Yeah. And so I know you mentioned, Jake and Gino. If like I think a lot of us know these names. Did you have like a specific mentor or coach outside of, obviously the masterminds that a lot of people are in? Did you have like a specific person you really leaned on to guide you through everything? Or was it like a mix?
I don't think I really had a specific person. I can give credit to people that I did have in my pods and everything else. I can't think of his last name, but Bill for the Jake and Gino, Jason for our accountability. I know I had again in the Failing Mastermind, I had people in there that were helping me with different aspects. I can say in the deal room, and again, it's different because I listened to certain people, and I know deal room. I was about to quit at one time, just kept in two years of finding deals, trying to raise some capital, and failed at it. And I'm like, hey, look at the numbers, look at location, and wasn't even telling them about the partners or anything about education, about self-directed IRA or any of that stuff or anything. Didn't even know how the old the roofs were or nothing. But I can say the partners in the deal room, in South Carolina, I'd say those guys in there they were really good, helped out a lot on education and learning and keep me, motivated. I haven't been in there in a couple of years and everything myself, but a lot of people in here, just on the phone calls with Jason and even Trevor and everything else, meeting a lot of guys in here, but a lot of different people. So it was never one person, and then my partners, Jolene that are on here maybe, and then my partner Madeline from Entrere, but just a lot of people collectively that helped me out with different realms. So
Yeah, I know that whenever we have these calls and we talk to a lot of different people, there's a common theme. You can't really do it on your own, right? You kind of need someone in your corner. Like you want to learn how to do underwriting. Okay, you can watch some YouTube videos, but at some point, you're going to need somebody to come in and say, hey, here's what you're doing wrong, or here's what you're doing right, and here's what you can improve, right? So I think having a mentor and someone in your corner or a group of people is super important, right? And when it comes to the capital raise, right, that's a big issue for a lot of people, both when they're starting and when they're a little more experienced. So, can you share an experience from your first capital raise or one of your first deals you raised for? What kind of challenges you faced and how you overcame them?
I think also just, having, good partners that always got on a Zoom call, because I think also people want to see a face. So when I got on these calls and I was like, hey, I'm a general partner of a deal, I'm investing some capital, I'm signing on debt or, putting earnest money. So telling them a little bit about us, but then again, getting our partners and the partners having time set aside to spend 30 minutes, an hour and a half with them. And again, I had some that I didn't go through that I started off with and, just, oh, I can't get on Zoom. So again, but the ones that I did work for that we raised together on our deals that we were part of and still are part of a few of them, again, just their good teamwork of being there and answering these questions of how the roofs are and how the HVACs are and every single question. So that, and then again, just any help or feedback of things that I didn't know because I'm not a big underwriter. I would want to know the underwriting, but not spend 3 hours, inputting all the stuff in there. But, just a lot of people that really would help out. And then again, I look back of when I was trying to, tell people about a deal or location or whatever else it was, I wasn't educating them. And I think also I wasn't listening enough. I was more, kind of telling them. So a lot of things that people helped me. And again, it was a lot of numerous people, but, sometimes just listening is a good thing that right now.
Yeah, being able to be a good listener for your investors is can go a long way, right? Just listening to their questions. So, what are some ways that you implement and establish credibility with investors, right? Getting on the Zoom, that's part of it, but how do you, establish some kind of credibility to get them there in the first place?
To get them there in the first place. I mean, I think it's, one of the things on there is, is credibility is contacting them first. And some people just want to send out a mass text, mass email. And sometimes I'm guilty of that, or I used to be a lot, where
Mhm.
there was times people were like, well, how many times do you call them? And I'm like, I was just texting them our link and texting them my portals and everything to fill up. Well, I was emailing them. So again, I think it's just like, hey, when can I get a call? Where's your money coming from? I think also just like today, I had a couple of calls with our behavioral health, and I was just the one person on there. I don't even think we talked about the deal. So I was like, how's
Mhm.
life? What do you do? Family? Where do you live? So some of those things are important. And the guy's like, text me afterwards, and he's like, hey man, he's like, we didn't even talk about the deal. He's like, can you send me the portal? Like, and
Mhm.
again, I mean, it's some of those things that you talk about, because I think sometimes people are like, hey, look at my pitch deck and just let me know how it looks. Like, not even asking, like, here's the investment, here's this. Let me know what you think of, are we adding enough information about the comps in the area? Sometimes when you're telling that, they're like, dude, this deal looks really good. How can I invest in it? So some of those, I guess, reverse psychology things, but also just, educating, people on that. And again, following up, not bugging them every day where they're like, listen, man, I mean, I got to put into a self-directed IRA, and, it takes like 5 to 7 days. So realizing that what company they have Schwab or Fidelity, everybody's different, but they're going to take 2, 3 weeks. It's not going to be a
Mhm.
quick one. So again, once a week, I was like, hey, Amanda, I'm going to call you about next week. If you need anything else, I have Scott Maurer from Advance IRA. He's done, hundreds of our investors. I got somebody that's really good. I'm like, okay, cool. If you need anything, and everything. And then again, talking about them about asking questions. I'm like, is it a regular IRA? What are you doing? She goes, oh, we're doing a checkbook one, which again, those can be really advantageous if you're doing numerous deals, but it's not always advantageous for one. And then she said, yeah, I want to do 4 or 5 of these deals. So again, me asking that question now, and she's putting more than 100K. Now I
Mhm.
know, again, that she might have 4 or 500K. So again, I think asking questions, I think also, having her husband being on the call, asking them. I know some people, if it's maybe not a good deal, I've heard them, we'll just make separate calls. I had another person today that I was talking to about investing, and he's like, well, I have my friend call. I'm like, well, if you might have the same questions or different questions and you want to hear the answers and maybe piggyback on some of those questions, why don't you guys both get on the same call if you can and go from there? I always think those are better, because then they see different views and different things that they might see, especially if the partner, I think, has lost a lot of money and in certain deals. But
Mhm.
again, I'm telling them, educating them, going, hey, I've seen a lot of people that had no assets that have been taken millions of dollars. Look up the address. If you're close to it, go visit it. If you're not close to it, have somebody else drive by it. Look and make sure the sign says apartments, the address meet. I mean, there's some of these things on here that people just don't see, because there are people in a lot of these groups that will pay, 5, 10, 20 grand to be in these groups, and they're taking a lot of money. So I'm a banker. So you'll see some of this banking negative side to it, but it's you got to make sure that your investors are safe, because they really don't care about making the money. They do, but their biggest worry is losing it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know and this is a common theme that I think a lot of the people we talk to hammer home is, yeah, your deal is important, but your investors like peace of mind. If they like you and trust you and they're confident in you as a person, the deal will come, right? They'll ask the questions about the deal. But if that's your main focus, just hammering the numbers, like they're not going to be as comfortable,
And
right?
I
So making
think
sure
even
that
asking that,
they're comfortable.
oh, sorry, even
No, go.
asking a question about those same investors is following up, I think, would be the biggest thing too, because we've had some investors that have invested into all of our mobile home parks. They've invested into the medical provider insurance wrap up, I guess you want to call it. They've invested now in our mental behavioral health. So I just think those are important. And just coming back and just asking them, hey, do you have any other friends that might be interested in making some cash flow in some of these deals too? And it's kind of funny, they'll bring a friend on, and it's like somebody I know sometimes. So it's a small little circle, but it's good, because no matter how many times we email out or text out or whatever else it is, when we sponsor an ad or have our AI working, or our VA has reached out, they're like, oh, I didn't know you had a deal. I'm like, and sometimes I'm like, I've been calling you because you told me if
Hmm.
you have a pretty good deal to reach out. But yeah, I think that's why I have a little bit of a VIP list of like 10, 20 people on there. I think it's around 15 or 16 actually, exactly. But I always reach out to them first. And then, if they don't have any funds or already deployed those, because a lot of people I have, somebody like, well, how come you're looking for more capital? I'm like, the people I have don't sit on too much money. They might sit on a 25, 50K or something reserves, but they're always saving money. They're always reinvesting that capital to where they can get at least the highest cash on cash, or at least a safe return while it's not sitting in a bank account.